Right, Katie, buckle up, because today we're diving into some rather intense spiritual mechanics, courtesy of a piece called The Garden Sessions.
The Garden Sessions sounds like a lovely Sunday afternoon, doesn't it? Perhaps we'll discuss pruning roses. But knowing you, Theodore, it's probably more about pruning demons.
You're not far off. We're starting with alcohol, which, it turns out, isn't just about loosening up. Oh no. When you drink, you are manually lowering your subconscious shields. Your frequency drops into the basement, and in that low-res state, the door is wide open.
So it's not a sip of wine feeling fine, it's more like a shot of tequila, hello spiritual squatters. And the analogy here is brilliant. You're sitting in a parked car with the keys in the ignition and the door is unlocked. Spirits apparently don't need a formal invitation, they just need an opening.
Exactly. Like a mischievous neighbor who sees your front door ajar and just wanders in for a chat. But then we pivot to stimulants, which are the polar opposite.
The old street stuff or the productivity pills. The article says these don't lower your shields, they overclock the engine. They create a state of hyper-ego. Suddenly, your self feels like a god.
Yes, you think you're faster, smarter, more enlightened than anyone else. This is where narcissism takes root, creating a manic, prideful frequency that pushes out the Holy Spirit and replaces it with a God complex. You're redlining the meat suit, and the parasite, our new friend, is in the back, feeding off your pride until you inevitably hit the wall.
The meat suit is redlining. I love that. So instead of being an open house for spirits, you're building a massive, gold-plated ego mansion that only one particular, rather demanding guest is allowed into, and they just eat your pride. Delicious.
It's quite the exclusive club. Now, this next bit is rather raw. It's the Venom protocol, trauma as the anchor. Think Spider-Man, but less web-slinging, more spiritual infestation.
Oh, the symbiote. Oh, this is good. So most of us have trauma we think we've handled. Maybe it was a violent upbringing, a betrayal 10 years ago. You didn't forgive, you just suppressed it, pushed that rage and sadness into the basement, and locked the door.
And you think you're fine because you have a job and a checklist church life, but the forensic truth, according to this piece, is that unhealed trauma is a spiritual magnet. And when you take a substance, any substance, it acts as a chemical crowbar.
A chemical crowbar prying open that basement door. That suppressed rage isn't just a feeling anymore, it's a vessel. And the demonic entity latches onto that unhealed part of you like a symbiote. It wraps itself around your rage and starts taking the wheel. Suddenly, your bad night isn't just a bad night.
Precisely. It's the parasite using your suppressed trauma as its hands and feet. This is how a good man commits a violent crime or destroys his family. He didn't just lose control, he let the venom in because he refused to let God heal the wound in the basement.
So, essentially, your emotional baggage becomes a chauffeur for evil. That's a rather dramatic way to describe a Tuesday night out, isn't it? And speaking of drama, we then enter the narcissism loop and the curse.
Indeed. When you don't deal with the wreck, the ego builds a wall to protect it, and that wall is narcissism. You start thinking everything is about you, blaming everyone else for your static.
Ah, the static. I know a few people whose entire existence seems to be made of static. This becomes the cycle of the curse. Slow build. Sadness leads to drugs, drugs lead to debt, debt leads to bad decisions, more suppression. You spiral into the abyss, blind to it all, thinking it's just bad luck. But it's not.
It's an occupation. And it's not just the chemicals feeding this monster. It's what you watch, the music glorifying the wreck, the prideful, ego-driven garbage you consume on your phone.
So every time I scroll through my social media feed, I'm basically ordering a takeaway for the demon in the basement. That's quite the consumption audit. Making your internal environment so toxic and cluttered that the stillness of God can't even get a signal through? You're literally subsidizing your own possession.
A rather expensive subscription, wouldn't you say? Which brings us to the only extraction, total surrender. You can't manage Venom. You can't negotiate with the portal.
And not the weak coffee shop version of surrender, mind you. This is a surgical extraction. It's saying, Father, I have a monster in the basement. I have unhealed rage. I am handing you the keys to every single room. I am inviting you in to clean out the junk and restore the foundation.
Exactly. When you give it all to God, not the 90% you're comfortable with, but the whole wreck, He doesn't just clean you up, He re-architects your frequency. He heals the trauma, so there's nothing for the venom to latch onto. He replaces the static with the rope.
So, the ultimate harm renovation project with spiritual heavy lifting then, rather more involved than just a lick of paint then.
Far more. It's a complete spiritual overhaul. If this conversation about subconscious shields and basement monsters resonated, share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. This is the Garden Sessions, and as always, we will keep digging.